Hey guys, Tyler here. I was just finished watching Total Recall again for the fifth trillionth time. Now, someone said, Tyler, you need to do this. I did, and I watched the new one. This is uncomfortable, it hurts.
And it catapulted me forward, I think it was one of the reasons why they didn't continue, did Terminator 2 with all this other.
Now, before we start, guys, some of you need to know, this pocket is, I can't wear my wallet, or my keys, and these thin pants. I'm going to put shorts on later. That doesn't work. Let me do some real quick here, guys, and we'll talk in a minute. That's better. It's quieter, but still I can turn it up. Now, I want to talk Total Recall. Now, I've seen both Total Recalls, guys. I've seen the first one from 1990 with Arnold Schwarzenegger for 1,000 times, like a gazillion times. No problem. Then you got the new one came out recently. That one, I can't explain it, but they only had one part that makes you start laughing. Because if you see the original, you start busting up laughing because you're thinking it's, because you're thinking, okay, here he goes. He's the woman, and ahead of him, okay, the woman says, how long staying with us? 2 weeks. And you keep on thinking, and if you see the original Recall, you're going, here it comes, and no, it's not. It's not what you think it is. Which really screws me up, because I like the original, and a couple of things from the original I like to add to the new one. I mean, yeah, the new one's okay, but still, I like to add some stuff to the original one. Because we're talking about going to the moon. We're talking about going to Mars still. I mean, we've been talking about going to Mars now for the past, what? We've been talking about going to the moon since the 80s. And still to this day, we still do.
It's a dream project. If Arnold's body is the perfect vehicle for his soul, this movie is a kind of perfect vehicle for Arnold.
I mean, for years, since the 80s, okay, I'm not kidding, since the 1980s, we thought about going to Mars. And we've been going to Mars since the 60s. Really? Okay, first we went to the moon. Yes, first we went to the moon. And, okay, first thing we did was, first our friends in Russia went to space with Laika that got by accident. Then we went to the moon. Now, we already had done the moon, okay? We're going back to the moon. It takes about back in the 60s when our friends went up to the Apollo missions with the moon, it took about 3 days to get to the moon. Now, that's not bad. Mars is a little more tricky. Why don't humans go to Mars for? Well, it's not easy, because it takes 3 days to get to the moon. Mars is kind of harder because there's two problems with Mars. You only have a window. The window's only open. Oh, you have to wait every other year to go to Mars. Okay, because of the window. Well, that's not totally bad, but it takes about 7 months to 2 years. I mean, some people say it depends. Sometimes it'll take 7 months. Sometimes it'll take 2 years to get to Mars. Some people say it'll take like 7 months to 2 years to get to Mars, which I do believe that. But after we did stuff with the moon, I don't know if this was true though, but something called Squeaks back in the 60s went to Mars. It didn't do much. It was called Squeaks. It didn't do nothing. In the 70s, we went to Mars, got some samples, brought them back to Earth. That's what people have said. But I don't believe that ever happened. But since the 2000s, since third grade, now this is true, since third grade, okay? When I was in third grade, which is back in 03, 04, we launched that rover onto Mars. There's a rover on Mars. There's 2 or 3 rovers on Mars. There was. Both rovers are now dead. Both rovers are gone. They're destroyed, and they're still on Mars. There's been rumors now that we're launching something right now. There's something right now on Mars right now. I don't know. I watched Total Recall. The original from 1990 is based on Mars, which was a good idea. The thing is, though, guys, if I had the money or so, I think it's pretty cool. But the thing is, though, we now have, according to what I've heard, I don't know if it's true or not, if it's already been to Mars yet. I think it has been. I mean, this has been a while ago. They even have a drone on Mars. a drone on Mars, or a flying device. And our friends in China launched a rocket recently to the moon. It's a moon rover designed like the one. There's actually a moon rover on the moon, just like the rover to Mars, but it's made by China. It's on the moon, doing the same thing. I don't know much about that, but if everything goes by plan, we should be going back to the moon by next year. I mean, people saying we're going to the moon, we're going back to the moon. I mean, we'll go to the moon by 2024, maybe 2025. Mars, yes, I might go back to Mars by 2023. I mean, right now it's 2023, guys. They're saying maybe go to Mars by 2030, 2035. So do I believe it's going to happen? Yes. If we get the budget, yes. I mean, we're going back to the moon, okay? We're going back to the moon maybe in 2 years, 2024, 2025. Mars, maybe 2030, 2035. Heck, if we go to the moon by 2040, I'll be surprised. Where's my flying car at? That's what I'd like to know. Come on, it's 2023. Where's the flying car at? Almost 10 years prior, they had a flying car at Back to the Future Part 2. Well, technically, flying cars do exist. Well, guess what, guys? Flying cars do exist. They're just too expensive. I mean, flying cars have been around since the 90s, okay? They just don't work. They never did work. I mean, come on. Flying cars came out in 99, 2000. Okay, the first flying car existed in 99, 2000. It never really worked. The hoverboard. The hoverboard came out in 2010. The first proper hoverboard came out before 2015. But the proper hoverboard needs a copper plate. It doesn't really work. And some other things like that. But yeah, guys. It's possible we're going back to the moon. It's also possible we're going to Mars real soon. No. I wouldn't mind going to the moon, but I'm too big. Because I know for a fact if you you weigh 85 pounds, right? You weigh about 14 on the moon. If you weigh 85 pounds, you weigh about 6 on Pluto. Thing is, though, I would like to reconfigure Pluto into a planet. Because Pluto is, to my knowledge, Pluto's still a planet. It doesn't matter. It's still a planet to me. It has 3 moons, or 1 moon, but it's still a planet. I mean, because the entire Pluto's not a planet. Yes, it is. Pluto's still a planet. I mean, I played some old games the other day. What planet is further from the sun? Neptune. You're wrong. It is Pluto. So, even these older games are right. And I think, wait, this game's wrong. They changed the rules. Yeah, but Pluto's still a planet. So, to my knowledge, Pluto's been a planet. In 5th or 6th grade, they were changed Pluto into not being any longer a planet. But I told them, how big is Mars? That's what they think. If it's smaller than Mars, it's no longer a planet. I think if it's smaller than Pluto, it shouldn't be a planet. Pluto should still be a planet. Pluto should still be a planet. I mean, according to me, I like doing naked eye astronomy. You can see Mercury, Mars, Venus, Jupiter, even Saturn by your normal eyes. But the thing is, you can't see Neptune or Uranus because they're too damn far. Well, that's not totally true. Someone said you can see Uranus. Which one's after Saturn? You can see it, but I don't believe that. But yeah, Pluto you can't see because it takes about 500. Takes about 200. It's weird. There's this thing called Pluto. It takes about 200 years to go around the sun 1 year. There's another planet that starts with an E or something. They call it. It's a red thing that starts with E. It takes about 500 years for that thing to go around the Earth. So yeah, it's supposed to be total recall. I thought, yeah, I got carried away.